Alright guys, Touchgripper here again today. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Looking forward to a good weekend ahead. Plenty to discuss today. First thing on a lot of people's minds right now is Scump and Formal. There's been some rumours going around over the last week or so that maybe Formal might be interested in playing with Scump. And we have a clip today from the podcast that Scump did with Nadeshot and Courage where maybe that is more and more likely. So we'll have to see how it goes. There's a lot of clips I want to share with you guys today, which I'm sure you'll find interesting. If you do like the video, it would be great, and subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop right into it here. So firstly, I don't want to play these clips just because they're very short and there's music in the background, but Crowder said a while ago that he even had an offer to be a player for one team. He now has clearly said that he's not going to be competing. He says it in this clip on Apathy's stream, and there's another clip as well on his own stream where he says that, he's not going to be competing this season, so he's going to be coaching is at least the plan. I'm pretty sure that's his plan, rather than Facento, of course, went on to make this Bad Moon talent thing happen. But yeah, don't think that's the case with Crowder. I think he's going to be coaching. I think that's the plan for him. So moving onwards then, we have this from Hastro. What kind of roster are we constructing for CoD Dallas? I'd try and give you guys some insight here. Let's keep our head in the game. One team, one goal. Thought I'd share about maybe a minute of this clip or something like that in relation to the NV team that they are trying to build.
Currently, we're in negotiations with different players to join our team. We haven't signed anybody officially just yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you guys know. I just want to talk to you guys about the type of player that we're looking for. I think our mantra this next year in Season 1 of this new Call of Duty League will be no tilt. So we're trying to put together a team of players that can just stay stable. I think one of the biggest issues amongst Call of Duty teams has been interpersonal team issues. You've seen a lot of players just not want to play with the teammates that they end up playing with. You see a lot of mid-season drama and lots of roster changes because of that. So for us, I think the number one thing that we wanted to go for when we're constructing our roster is just stability. We want players who we know aren't going to get tilted by a loss, aren't going to go out and immediately look for the next opportunity just because their team is in a slump. We want players to be able to fight through the tough times and achieve those great moments. So you guys out there probably know a lot of the players in the COD scene. You know some of the players that are just really able to keep their heads and stay strong and just be good teammates. And those are the kinds of guys that we're looking for. So as we kind of keep having these negotiations with players and we finally end up signing a few, we'll let you know. But just know that you can expect a team that's going to be having their head in the game the entire time and willing to be just really great teammates. That's what we're trying to bring to Dallas.
What's quite interesting about this, I think, is that he talks about tilt and the importance of having players that can stay composed under pressure. The interesting part of that, of course, is that they had Gunless on loan from Luminosity. And if there's one player right now where a lot of people are saying, easily loses full and tilts in game, Gunless is probably at the top of a lot of people's lists. Incredible, of course, individual talent makes the game look so easy at times, but... And, he's been probably like a top player, or maybe, he's been argued as the best player in the game for the last 3 years, or maybe, 3 years-ish since Infinite Warfare, really. At some point in the title, people have said, Gunless is, right up there, one of the best players in the game. So obviously a fantastic player, but, with Hastra coming out and saying we're having conversations and we're trying to focus on team play and, no controversy within the team and ensuring that people get along and don't tilt in game, maybe that's an indication that Gunless might not be at the top of their agenda, despite having him on loan, and LG might not get into the CDL next year. Unlikely, probably, at the current time. Who knows? But if that is the case, then they would have the option to keep Gunless on, or at least buy out his contract from Luminosity. But maybe that's not the case in light of this thing right here. Bryce Tacular says, wonder how many players are weighing the options between money offered and what team they want to play for and who they want to play with. Interesting point this, and I thought in a second I'll have a look at APOC. He does a further reply about, very interesting. I prefer the mindset of the guy who knows they deserve top dollar and will actually go for it. Skill being scattered across 9 to 12 teams versus 4 to 6 stacked teams is more interesting to me. Totally agree with that one. Don't want to have teams fully stacked with talent, even though this year, to be fair, in 5v5, we thought we'd get so much stacked talent. But even going into champs, there was probably 8 teams that could have realistically have won it. So Curtis Stocks here, he does another tweet later on. So he does appeal of the franchise location. So puts the franchise locations in order, which ones he thinks is most appealing for various reasons to do with, state income tax and location, other reasons, with Toronto and Paris being at the bottom. There was a reply to this tweet, which we'll have a look at in a second. And, Apoc says, I know, but unless I want to be blacklisted by Activision, I can't state what's coming online. So, what's just around the corner. Skylar Johnson says, not sure what you're talking about. He's the person who did this tweet. Apoc then puts the actual tweet he just sent right here. You're missing a couple, my guy. Northwest US will show love soon enough. So a lot of people were taking this to mean maybe Seattle could be a city in the next year's CDL. So take that as you wish, but it's Skylar Johnson. Let's just have a look at what he actually does here. Conceptualist, 10 plus year in esports. Don't follow him. 68,000 followers. Probably I should follow him. All right, go on then, son. So yeah, thought that was interesting. Thought I'd run that past you guys. So moving on to this real quick. This was an article that went up on Medium by Josh Chapman doing some analysis on the Call of Duty League and how much it might be worth in terms of media rights to pay for the rights to actually cover the league. So I thought I'd just kind of scroll through this here. It does a little bit of an introduction. If you want to go and watch this, I'll of course leave it linked down below for you guys to have a look at in your own time. Talks about relations to traditional sports, Overwatch League pricing, of course, which is very similar to the Call of Duty stuff. This is quite interesting. I'm not sure this is fully fitting on the screen for you guys. Okay, it pretty much is. We're looking at these numbers, right? So we're looking at League of Legends hours watched versus Call of Duty hours watched about 10 times in League of Legends, and therefore, in the little comparison they've done, they reckon that Call of Duty overall next season will be worth in the region of $24 million in terms of media rights, and over a 2-year season, over 2 seasons, which I guess is what typically happens. You do a 2-year deal, kind of makes more sense. $24 million a season is their conclusion. Pretty interesting read. There are definitely other costs and revenues associated with being part of the league, yet if we are to assume all teams are breaking even on the CDL before they even receive 100% of media rights revenue, it would take 12.5 seasons to make back their franchise fee. And that said, most investors don't buy franchise teams for the cash flow, but for the appreciation of the asset over time. However, unlike traditional sports that last 100 plus years, video games come and go. So, very interesting concept, to be honest, by Convoy Ventures, and I'll leave it linked down below if you guys want to check it out. Another clip here to share with you guys from Jack Etienne, Cloud9 founder and CEO, as Intel Call of Duty says right here, and he says he's looking into potential Call of Duty action.
Call of Duty franchising right now. A lot of the Overwatch League teams have started to get into that. Is Cloud9 going to be another one of those? It's super interesting. Can't get specific, but it's really interesting, so I'm checking it out.
Of course, Cloud9 have been in Call of Duty in the past. Fingers crossed we see them in Season 2, because we would love London to have a spot, especially us lads from the UK. So it's going to be an issue if there isn't a London spot. Hopefully they invest in the second season at the very least, because it doesn't seem like they'll be investing immediately into this one. This is what I was looking for this week on the Courage and Nadeshot show. So a few clips I want to just share with you guys from this video. This is a 45 second or so kind of breakdown of the entire thing. Just a short little teaser. I'll leave this link down below as well. So I'll play this for you guys.
Seth, what happened with Formal?
I feel like it was kind of the same thing with me and you. There was like a competition within the team. Once we started losing, I feel like that competition ate away at the relationship.
Overrated and underrated Call of Duty.
Overrated Black Ops 1.
Absolutely.
Kind of stale. Underrated MW3.
I respect an answer. We might be the same person. One of my favorite stories is when me and Scump had our first falling out and he joined Envy.
I was like evil little redheaded, I was so evil.
And he sent me a text, word for word, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
It's so cold.
Now, this is where people are getting their hopes up. Scump names his dream team. His first name he comes out with here is Matthew Formal Piper. He mentions Slasher, Dashy, Simp. I think, those are pretty damn cool. What a deadly team that would be. But yes, interesting. I'll play the clip for you guys.
And contracts didn't matter, salaries didn't matter. What is your COD dream team?
This is really tough. All right, so what's the meta? We 1 main AR, 2 flexes, 2 subs?
Yeah.
That's the meta? Okay.
Well, don't worry about the meta.
Yeah, I would just say pick 5
skillful players.
people around you.
Let's start with the main AR role. Probably the pipe.
Formal. For
Yep.
anybody that doesn't know.
Probably the pipe. 2 flexes, Slasher and Bruce. Am I on this team?
Yes.
So, okay, so I'm a sub, so that's one sub slot filled. I don't even know. Who would my second sub be?
Simp,
Because I'm kind of,
the goat.
yeah, probably Simp the Pimp with a limp, the shrimp.
Wow.
So as Lineman says below, Lineman was trying to organize this Advanced Warfare throwback tournament, and he says that Formal had said he'd be down to play in a throwback tournament with the old roster, which is big considering he hasn't spoken about them in ages. So really interesting stuff. If you are a fan of course, have been around a few years, you know about the Dynasty OpTic roster that was Formal, Scump, Crim6, Karma, of course, the legendary one, and if they were to reunite at all, that would be an incredible story going into this next season. But what's interesting is that Scump goes on to say how if he has to move for good money, it would only be for the right money. Now, what he does say is he doesn't think players will have to move to their home city in the first year, which kind of implies that he might be considering moving to another city, another franchise that isn't where he currently lives in Texas. But then again, if you think about it from another perspective, because he says towards the end of this clip, and I'll play it for you guys in a second, that if he had to move, he'd have to be a lot of money. He'd have to secure the bag. That makes me think that probably he hasn't really thought about that too much yet and hasn't really thought about moving elsewhere, which makes it more likely to me that he's probably considering, at least for the time being, staying where he is, which would be Texas, which would be Dallas, which would be Team Envy. So I don't know whether that is in fact what's going to happen. That was rumored a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was. So if that is the case, then maybe this is a little bit of evidence for that.
So how do you feel about franchise COD? What do you feel about the idea of having to go live in another city? What do you feel about the teams that have been announced so far in the cities? Tell me your thoughts on...
I don't think we're going to have to live in other cities, at least not for the first year.
A lot of other players are convinced that they are, from everyone that I've talked to.
Okay, well, like year 2, year 3, potentially, yeah. But year 1, like, we're not going to have to move.
If you're told you have to, if you're at a point where, let's say it is year 2, and you finish year 1, and you're at a point where you're like, all right, I'm this age, I've done well for myself. You obviously can easily branch and do content and do that, and that'll be, your source of everything. Or you can keep competing, but you have to go move somewhere that you probably definitely don't want to live. Do you think that that's going to be a decision that could be the crossroads where you could be like, all right, then I'm out?
Depends what the cash is like.
So it would be like, I have to be paid very, very well to do this.
I mean, yeah, if I'm going to uproot my whole life to go move somewhere else, then yeah.
You want the Supermax.
I'm getting a bag. Or I'm just going to retire.
I get the big flip.
And the final thing to mention before we end the video here, ScrapsyG does the following tweet here, and he doesn't really say much, but he does at Dylan in this. I think this is from an all-star game. Interesting as to what this is, whether he's teasing about potentially teaming with Dylan, whatever. Interesting to see him tweet this out. I'm not sure if they've been playing much on stream. If they have, what am I on about? If they have, that'd be interesting, and maybe that's what they're going for. But if they haven't been playing on stream, then maybe this actually is some sort of indication as to what's going to happen next year. Scraps also, crucially, took FaZe Clan out of his bio. I didn't actually know he followed me, but fair play. Cheers, Matty. So yeah, professional COD player for nothing. Watch me play live on Twitch. So interesting that he's taken that out. Of course, it's not going to be called FaZe Clan next year anyway. It would be you'd have professional COD player for COD _ whatever city FaZe are going to be in, rumored to be Atlanta. But if that even does go ahead, which is unlikely right now, but if it is the case, I don't know why he's taken it out of his bio, of course. Who knows exactly what the reason is for that. But, I'm sure you guys can read into it. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, leave all your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time.